Welcome to a chat with Mu Shemsu-t. We will be discussing releasing the energy of past loves. Thank you for joining me. We're actually having a conversation about releasing the energy of past loves. Most of us don't realize how much of that energy of others that we carry with us in our aura, in our field. And so I want to just start off by talking about how energy gets attached to us so that we can begin to be more aware of how we allow energy and how we release that energy as well. So let me start off by looking at how we are conceived in the womb. Just so that we realize that as we're growing as an embryo in our mother's womb, we're growing inside of a water bag, right? We're growing inside of a water bag, and our body is primarily 70 to 80% water. So if you know anything about the work of Dr. Emoto, where he described how water holds energy and how water holds feelings and frequencies and vibrations, then we can kind of understand how the energy of our mother begins to shape our experiences inside of the womb. So one of the most important energy releases you will need to do is to release the energy of your parents from your aura field. When you allow yourself to do this, you will become more clear about who you are as the inner individual instead of carrying your parents' energy with you. So keep that in mind as we talk about releasing the energy of past loves, because they are just as wrapped up in you as your parents' energy. So this is all of these energies that we will need to release. And it's important to do this because otherwise we carry frequencies of anger, frequencies of depression, disappointment, anger. I can say anger is so much hate, longing that we don't even know where it comes from because it doesn't belong to us. It's an energy that we may have picked up either from our parents or from our lovers. So I want you to keep that in mind as we talk about this, right? So we're going to look at this release from what we call the Life Quadrant. The Life Quadrant includes 4 areas. It includes mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So when we're talking about releasing, we're going to look at that in 4 different aspects: the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. Right? So most of us can clearly see that we have a mental attachment to our past loves. We also have a mental attachment to our childhood upbringing. So in order for us to begin to see where this attachment is, we first have to be present to our own thoughts. So one of the best qualities that you can do for yourself is to observe your thoughts. So the best way to do that is through journaling, right? So you want to start really paying attention to the things that you're thinking about, especially when you wake up in the morning and just before you go to bed. What are those things that you're thinking about? And where are they coming from? You know, are they your thoughts? Are they original thoughts? Are they thoughts from people in the past? You want to pay attention to your thoughts. So this is the awareness of who you are that you want to pay attention to. So when you're paying attention to your mental thoughts, you also can see that you may harbor some resentment or some grief, right? You may think of someone and then all of a sudden you feel sad. So one of the best things that you could do is to begin the mental ritual of forgiveness. You want to quickly forgive, and I say quickly, I mean in the action of forgiveness, because I know that sometimes it takes a while, right? You have to do it a few times. But you don't want to have those thoughts lingering. You want to see them when they come up. You want to see that you feel a certain way about someone or something, and you want to forgive that. You want to release it. Now, when you're forgiving, it doesn't dismiss anything that has happened. But what it does do, it gives you a clarity. It gives you a reference point, because you have to take responsibility. Each of us must take responsibility for everything that comes into our life, because really, we're attracting it. It's showing up because it's part of the work that we're doing to become whole and complete within ourselves. So this takes a little bit of work, because most of us have been taught to blame other people, to blame life. It just turned out that way. No, it didn't. Somebody did this to me. However, this work is about each of us becoming whole and complete within ourselves, knowing that we came here intent on being powerful, on being beautiful, and being peaceful. And so there are things that we're learning along the way to get us to that point. And sometimes it's painful, right? So we want to begin that mental flossing of forgiveness. We want to forgive people. So when I say that, I want you to look and see who comes to mind. Who do you need to forgive right now? And that first name that shows up, I want you to write it down. Write down that person you need to forgive. Just write it down so you can empty your head for a minute. Just write down their name. If it's a second person you need to forgive, write that person's name down too. Okay, and you get a bonus of 3. Write that person's name down as well. We're just going to write it down just so we can be clear that there's work for us to do there. Doesn't mean anything right now. We just know that we need to do some work over there. Okay? So that's the mental part in letting go. We're looking at who do we need to forgive. Then we're going to look at actually what is the emotional side. Right? Our thoughts are one thing, our emotions are another. Okay? So our emotions can either vibrate in the feeling of love, or they can vibrate in the feeling of fear. So a lot of times when we have a breakup with someone, we're usually in a state of fear. Our fear can always go into, oh, there's something wrong with me. No one will ever love me. Why can't I get it right? Right? All of those things that we start doing. So now, instead of blaming other people, we start blaming ourselves. So this is that part of us that we really need to begin to see the little girl in us that just wasn't good enough. We haven't been good enough. We don't even allow ourselves to be good enough. So that little girl needs to be nurtured. Now, for me, my little girl is 5 years old. The reason my little girl is 5 years old is because I was that age when my mother was placed in a mental institution. And at that point, I had to grow up. And so that little girl had to get shut down. She couldn't cry anymore. She couldn't be a crybaby like her sister always said. She had to wash her own clothes. And boy, if she ever had on dirty panties, she was going to get talked about. So that 5-year-old girl had to really do a lot for herself. So now I'm present to that 5-year-old girl that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be held, that needs to be acknowledged, that needs to play, that needs to hang out with her friends and be with her family. I allow that, where for about 30 years, maybe even longer, I did not acknowledge that that little girl needed me. So that's the emotional side of you that you're going to let flow, allow, be, The person that you're releasing has some attachment to that 5-year-old. So I want you to be able to look and identify that. What is it about that person that 5-year-old, my 5-year-old, right? Yours could be any age. So you might want to think, how old is my emotional self that I'm developing? How old is she or he? And really maybe write that down so you can begin to explore, what is that age? Okay? So when that person that you're releasing right now, there's something about them that allowed that emotional side of you to be released. You want to see that was a gift. And when that person went away or when they're no longer available to you, you still have that emotional side of you. And now you get to cultivate it. You don't have to have someone else to do it for you. They were just a mirror for you to see that was missing, that you weren't allowing yourself that sense of freedom and joy. So that's the gift that person brought to you. So now when you're releasing that person, you're releasing them in full acknowledgement of the gift that they brought you, so that you could see that emotional side of yourself that wanted to be free. Now, in order to help you do that, I'm going to recommend Bach flower remedies. So for those of you who are not familiar with this, I'm going to ask you to Google it. It's BACH, Bach flower remedies. And I would suggest, there are, I believe, 38 different remedies. What I suggest right off the back is larch to help develop your confidence, pine to help relieve anger, and agrimony, I believe, is for grief. There are many other ones, so you don't have to take the ones that I've just suggested. There's several. So you can go through the list. There's a BachFlowerRemedy.com that has a whole list of all of the remedies and all of the different senses, because this is for the soul. It helps the soul to open up. So it has all of these flower remedies to help your soul, the essence, to come through. So look and see which one works best for you. So for the emotional self, you're going to free up that inner child and love her or him, and you're going to give them some assistance with the Bach flower remedies. Okay? And the third one is physical, right? So we went through mental, we went through emotional. Now we're going to look at physical. How do you release this energy? How do you detox your energy from somebody physically? So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is one of my favorite detox baths, right? So what you would need is a half cup of Epsom salt. You can get all of this at CVS or Walgreens. You can order it online too. It's just as good. And when I order online, I order from LuckyVitamins.com. And they'll deliver right to your door. I can pay directly from PayPal, so it's really convenient. Okay, so you're going to need a half a cup of Epsom salt, a half cup of baking soda, and then, I use like a 4th cup of hydrogen peroxide, and then just maybe about 10 drops of lavender oil, right? And you put that in a hot tub of water and you soak for at least 30 minutes. Now, the thing about this bath is that when you get out of it, you literally must go to sleep. Sometimes I just get a white sheet, wrap up in it after I'm out, and just lay on my bed and go to sleep. So I do it often at night. And it's so, oh my God, it is just so nurturing. You can put incense in the bathroom. I put the candle lights on. Sometimes I put music in there and I just sit. And so if the water starts getting cold, you just put on some hot water to make it warm again. And I promise you, you will feel the effects. You will feel so nurtured, right? And at the end, I'm going to suggest a meditation that you can use. And that would be a good time to play that meditation as well when you're in that bath. Oh my goodness, it's just great. Okay? So, other thing that I would suggest physically is a yoni egg. Now, if you don't know about yoni eggs, I'm going to have one of our Master Force coaches who is the alchemist's daughter. She does these amazing classes with us called Pushwa Sutra. And the yoni egg has been phenomenal in the healing of my own yoni after I realized it didn't have to get stuck. But that's another story. But anyway, Icha, are you on the line? Can you share with us how the yoni egg could make a difference in the healing and the nurturing and the releasing of lost loves or past loves?
Are you able to hear me?
Oh, there, I can hear you now. Hi. How are you?
Hello. I am well, thank you. I'm sitting here taking notes and having this experience with everybody else. I'm so grateful for this.
Well, I'm glad that you could join us. And I just love the work that you continue to do with the Pushwa Sutra. So thank you for making yourself available. Can you talk to us a little bit about your yoni eggs and let people know, do you have any for sale right now that people can possibly purchase, or tell us more about it.
Absolutely, thank you. Part of the work that we do in bringing ourselves back into our own energy and our own vibration of love and our own power is by utilizing crystals to help to balance and raise our vibration. So when you think of a crystal, you can think that it took eons of time and energy and pressure and minerals to create it. And so it's like a solid piece of sunshine and all of the energy that is healing and nurturing to us. And so each of the different stones have different colors, and these colors work to help us inside of our vibratory energy, so our frequency, because we're frequency-based beings. And so as we are healing and nurturing, when we place the frequency of these stones inside of our body with the yoni eggs, balancing, nurturing, healing, release, toning of muscles, releasing of different types of energy that's in the body in the form of tumors and cysts and anything that you can think of that could manifest in our yoni and in our sacred seat area can be released simply by utilizing the yoni eggs. We like to say with coconut on top, with a little coconut oil.
Yes.
And so actually, I know, right?
Yes.
That's so wonderful. And actually, I do have some for sale. I have been working inside of a program that helps people to balance the energy of their body. So what that looks like is releasing weight and utilizing all of their internal gifts, which is called the AMP Up program, the Avatar Maintenance program. That's another work that I do.
Yes.
And so inside of that work, we utilize the yoni eggs. And the yoni eggs that I have available now are beautiful, marbled, blue and white, solar-like yoni eggs. They're very good for the creative being in us, for releasing excess energy, and for opening us to our psychic and feminine energy because of their blue coloring. So there's a lot of vibration inside of them that can be very helpful for us in in doing this work.
Very good. Now, how can they reach you, Icha? What's the best way for them to reach you, and what's the cost of the eggs?
The best way to reach me is on Facebook at this time, The Alchemist's Daughter. And The Alchemist is spelled ALKHEMIST, daughter, The Alchemist's Daughter. And the cost of the eggs, they're medium yoni eggs, which is good for all ranges of beginners or people that have worked with eggs before. And they're $35 plus domestic shipping and handling. If you want to pick them up, then you don't, of course, pay any shipping and handling.
Very good. Thank you so much. And then again, you can reach Icha on Facebook, The Alchemist Daughter with a K. Very good. Thank you. And then that's Icha, ICCHA. So did you guys get that? Devewa. Yes. Very cool. So the physical side now, when you're starting to work with the yoni egg, is very real, it's very nurturing, it's very noticeable. So you'll be able to feel inside of yourself a difference in your own energy once you start doing this work with the yoni egg. And again, if you're not sure, we're spelling yoni, YONI. And there are plenty of videos out there. Icha actually does have a video channel where I believe, do you have a channel, Icha, where you talk about the yoni egg? Is that something, YouTube, that I can share with them? Because I'm going to be sending them some YouTube.
Yes, I do have one very specifically that I talk about the uses of coconut oil, and in that particular one, I talk about the yoni eggs. And I'm glad you mentioned it. I will create another one too to just talk specifically about that. So thank you.
Okay, very good, very good. So that's the physical side. And I'm glad that Icha spoke about the coconut oil. Most of us maybe don't realize that we should not, I don't want to say should, it isn't necessary to use soap inside of your vagina or even on your vulva, on your lips. You really just need it for the cracks and the crevices on the outside. But when you get towards the clitoris and the vulva and all that, you don't need soap. You want to use maybe some coconut oil. And what I do is I have cotton balls or even tissue, soft tissue, and you just put a teaspoon of coconut oil on there and just wipe yourself. Just really gently wipe yourself and use it, throw it away, and then if you need to have another wipe, do that. But do not continue to use soap and other cleaners on that part of your body. Okay, and again, that's a whole nother class about taking care of your yoni. But the coconut oil itself will help to relieve any type of bacterial infection, yeast infection, all of that. You can just put a little dab on your finger and, just wipe your yoni out with it, okay? So really, we have such a sacred body. It cleanses itself. It will clean itself, so you don't have to worry about that, all right? So that's the physical side. Now we want to look at the spiritual side of releasing. We've talked about forgiveness, right? So when you actually open the door to forgiveness, you're allowing yourself access to some of the higher frequencies in the universe because you're clearing, you're allowing. So when you open yourself to those higher frequencies, you have now the spiritual balance coming to the forefront, right? You're allowing yourself that spiritual balance. So in order to nurture yourself spiritually, you want to include meditation. And your meditation is clearly about self-love, self-care, self-awareness, and self-worth. It's only about you. It's only about really accessing your own goddess self and being present to that. So, I'm going to send you or share with you a meditation that's on YouTube that I just love. But I'm also going to share with you the conversations of binaural beats. So there are these sounds that you can play to help to raise your frequency in your body. And as you're releasing this energy and this aura, you're cleaning all the way around you. Most of us don't realize that our energy field goes 6 feet out in front of us. 6 feet out away from your body is how your aura travels. So if you have energy from other people, they're inside of that. So sometimes we don't realize why we repel somebody that we really care about. We're repelling them because we have all of this other energy inside of our aura. So this cleansing is going to work on many different levels. So the meditation is how you again begin to awaken to and allow more room. And some of you are already meditating, I'm sure of that. So we're just taking it into a deeper practice. We're allowing ourselves to be present to the release of another person. Now, in order to truly release someone, you must love them where they are. So that's why we start off with forgiveness. Because in order to be really whole and complete, you must be able to house your own love, your love for you. When you love you, there is nothing else you can do but love anybody else. And what most of us have been taught, we have been taught to seek love from others. And we don't get that love from others. Now we want to blame them for not giving us something that they probably didn't have either. So now we're bringing ourselves back into ourselves, and we're loving ourselves just as we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, nothing to prove. We're allowing that inner child to be nurtured and loved. We're getting to know ourselves. We're valuing ourselves, and you're doing that through your meditation. Now, I want you to take on a practice at night with your journaling. It's called recapitulation. So at night, and this is inside of, I want you to consider that for 21 days, from this point until 21 days, it takes for you to do this releasing and to allow yourself to stay in this practice. And I'm going to be really radical, because I'm going to say that if you're involved sexually, you want to abstain for the next 21 days so that you can really get to the point of purifying yourself, right? This is for you. So inside of that 21 days, your recapitulation each night is going to look at, how was my day? Was I balanced in my emotions? Did I actually take care of my inner child? Did I get what I needed for myself and give it to myself? And really take note of how you treated other people and see if there's something you need to make right. Really take note of how you treated yourself and see what you need to make right. So you're just going to spend a few minutes each night recapitulating, just really looking at your day and seeing, is there something you need to make right, either for yourself or someone else. So in order to start your 21-day practice, you're just going to, you probably won't start this tonight. You may want to start this tomorrow. So you'll just put tomorrow's date on a piece of paper, and then you'll count out 21 days. And then I'm going to ask you to send me an email, right? Send me an email and tell me what that 21-day date is. And I'm going to send you an email back with the meditation, the links to the binaural beats, and a couple of other things. And so over these 21 days, you'll have access to me via email. And I'll be sending you things to help you clear the space, right? So my email address is mushemsu@gmail.com. That's mushemsut@gmail.com. Again, that's mushemsut@gmail.com. And so inside of that 21-day period, we want to make sure that you get your yoni egg. We're going to increase your meditation, make sure that that's daily. We're going to look at nurturing yourself. We're going to look at least doing that detox bath once a week, at least once a week. You can do it more if you feel like the energy is so strong that you have to get it off of you. Some of our ties to people are karmic, like we've been with these people many lifetimes. So what has conjured inside of our soul and our spirit are things that we're learning from them. So in order for us to release them quickly, we have to get, why am I attracting this person now? What is it I'm learning? Use that inside of your recap, your recapitulation. Write about that. What is it that you're learning so that you can release that person again in love, because they're bringing to you a gift. Get the gift, get the lesson, and release them in love. Be so thankful. The easiest way to release anybody is in gratitude. Just releasing them. Okay? So inside of that 21 days, you want to work on noticing just how often they show up. Okay? Okay, so we went through the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. I've given you my email address so that you can tell me when your 21-day cycle will end. And if you're not going to start it tomorrow, that's fine. Just tell me when it's going to end so that I can know how to support you during that time. I just thank you for who you are, for really looking to see what it is that you need to just give more life to your own life, more aliveness, being generous with yourself. It takes courage to be generous with yourself in a society that doesn't want you to do anything but take care of everybody else. So as women and men too, a lot of men have started to be over-carers, over-nurturers. So it's really important that we take time to nurture and support and encourage our own growth and development. So, and our own healing as well. So thank you. And if this has been of any benefit to you and you would like to make a love donation to me, that's also very welcoming. So it's up to you. I do this out of the generosity of my spirit. And if you want to complete that by donating something, I use PayPal. And again, that's at mushemsu@gmail.com. Otherwise, I look forward to your email. And if you have any questions, you can also include them there as well. So if you are complete, then I'm going to end this call. And once again, thank you for joining me tonight. Peace. We are ascending.